I just filmed a homeware haul, so like I'm trying to like clear up the background. Hi guys, it's me Jessica and welcome to another video on my channel, and today I'm going to be telling you a story time, and I've never done a story time before, so I'm kind of nervous, but I'm going to be telling you the story of the time that I spent my very first birthday in the emergency room. And this story basically is just how I got this scar on my forehead right here. It's not as visible anymore, but I mean, some of y'all have noticed it. Okay, so how do people start their story times? Like, I don't know how to start this. Okay, so I was that baby that pretty much learned everything really quickly, and I always got new skills on the daily. Like, I learned how to walk really early, I learned how to run really early, and I learned how to crawl really early. I learned everything pretty much really early. And you know, at my birth, since I learned everything so quickly, I probably just crawled right out of my mom. So I was constantly crawling, I was constantly walking, and when I finally learned how to run, oh my gosh, I would not stop running. So when I acquired my new skill of running, I would just run here, there, up the stairs, down the stairs, around the living room, around the kitchen. Like, I would pretty much run everywhere I could. You know, I was pretty much like Usain Bolt. Like, I was bolting across the room. Haha, see what I did there? Bolt. God, I'm such a dork. But yeah, I was a really hyper baby, so I was always jumpy all the time and jittery. So it was my very first birthday. Well, it was the day before my first birthday, so I was 364 days old. And I was running because, you know, I was a runner, and I was running there, I was running around my living room and stuff. So my parents had prepared this really awesome birthday party for me. It was Winnie the Pooh themed because I was obsessed with Winnie the Pooh. To this day, I still have this pillow that I love so much. It's kind of like my safety blanket. I always sleep with it every night. I know, just make fun of me. I sleep with a Winnie the Pooh pillow, whatever. But it has like all the Winnie the Pooh characters on it, and I love that pillow so much. But basically, it was just a Winnie the Pooh themed party. It had like Winnie the Pooh cups, Winnie the Pooh balloons, Winnie the Pooh plates, Winnie the Pooh napkins, like Winnie the Pooh everything. And I'm pretty sure like the table was dressed in like Winnie the Pooh tablecloth too. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. But basically, it was just like a Winnie the Pooh party, and I was probably really excited because I was a baby, and what kind of baby doesn't love Winnie the Pooh? And for my party, I think we had to like special order the balloons or something, or I don't know. But my dad had to pick up something for the party, and he was like really far. He was probably like an hour away. So it was just me, my mom, and my brother in the house. So my brother was upstairs in his room, you know, doing like teenager stuff because he was like a teenager at this time, and my mom was downstairs in the kitchen with me. Well, I wasn't in the kitchen. So basically, in our old house, the kitchen was right here, and then right next to it was the living room. So the living room was pretty much just like adjacent to the kitchen, so my mom would be able to see me while I was in the living room. And I was in the living room, and according to my mom, I was watching Sprout. That used to be my channel. Like, I used to turn up to that channel. Like, I would watch it 24/7. My mom actually canceled the subscription. I remember the day that she canceled the subscription, I started crying. I had a meltdown. I was like, that's my channel. Why are you taking it away from me? I remember I was like crying to her, and I was like being such a spoiled brat, and I was just like having a meltdown. And then she ended up buying it again, but I mean, that's besides the story. So my mom was in the kitchen, and she was watching me while I was watching Sprout, and I'm pretty sure I was watching like some kind of like Dragon Tales or like The Wiggles or Barney or whatever I used to watch. My mom tells me that I used to be really obsessed with The Wiggles. She told me that I'd watch it every day, but I don't really remember it. This is probably when I was like really young, because what I remember watching is like Teletubbies, Clifford, Dragon Tales, Caillou. Oh my god, I love Caillou. And that's probably the reason why I was a spoiled brat, because Caillou taught me to be a spoiled brat and cry about everything that you want. I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I learn some more. I like exploring on Caillou. So many things to do. Each day something new. I'll share them with you on Caillou. My world is turning, changing each day. With mommy and daddy, I'm finding my way. It's really sad that I still memorized that theme song. Like, I was probably watching some kind of like kids show, so when the commercials would come on, I would start running around the living room to entertain myself, because you know, commercials are boring. So my mom was just letting me run because she didn't think that I was gonna hurt myself. So she was in the kitchen making some leche flan, and if you don't know what leche flan is, it's basically like a Filipino dessert, and a ton of cultures have their take on flan. Leche flan is pretty much the Filipino take on it. If you don't know what flan is, just search up a picture of flan on Google Images and you'll see what it is. You know, I'll just make your life a lot easier. Here's a picture of leche flan. Okay, it's really good. So she was making some for the party, of course, and a lot of people were invited. Like, it was gonna be a poppin' party. It was gonna be lit. Being Filipino, my mom had to make all this food. She made some like fried chicken, she made some pancit, which is basically noodles, and she made some chicken adobo, pancit palabok. She made like all that Filipino stuff. And so she was in the kitchen busy and she was cooking. And then during one of the commercial breaks, I was running, and right in the middle of our living room is this coffee table, and it's a glass coffee table, and it has like a rimming of like wood, so around it is kind of like this wood trim, and then the corners kind of sharpen into a point. I think you see where this is going. So I was running around, and since the coffee table was right in the middle of the living room and the couch was kind of surrounding it, I was running around the coffee table pretending like I was some kind of car racing around a racetrack. So I was running, and you know, since I only acquired the skill of running like probably like 3 months ago, I wasn't that good at it. So I ended up tripping over my feet, or like tripping over the carpet or rug or whatever. I tripped and I fell face forward into the coffee table. Actually, not really into the coffee table, onto the corner of the coffee table. So I fell onto that point and I hit my head right here where my scar is, and my head busted open. Like, I was bleeding. Of course, I don't remember any of this. This is on the word of my mom. This is what she remembers. And she's told me this story so many times. In fact, I've told this story so many times. Like, every time I meet someone new, hey, how'd you get that scar on your forehead? And you know, I think I've told so many variations of this story. Like, I probably even made up a story once, because like sometimes you just get bored of telling the same story over and over again. I mean, so I busted my head open. I was bleeding, and my mom dropped her leche flan and she ran to the living room and she picked me up and she was like,
oh my god, you're bleeding, oh my god. You're not even 1 year old yet and I have to take you to the emergency room.
So my mom screams at the top of her lungs and she calls my brother downstairs, and at the time my brother was like 15 or something. So she's like, get my keys, we're going to the emergency room. My mom never let my brother drive her car, ever, except for this one time, because at the time my brother was 15, as I said, so he just started driver's ed or something, or he had his permit, or he just got his license, something like that. So basically my mom didn't trust him on the road yet, but like my mom did not care. She wanted him to drive us to the emergency room. So my brother is like excited because he's like, oh my god, I get to drive the car and stuff. But then he saw my blood and he was like getting all nauseous and stuff, and I applaud my mom for this. I love you so much, mom, because my mom is one of those people that gets squirmish when they see blood and stuff, and pretty much at the sight of blood my mom could faint. And I'm so like, I love my mom so much. She carried me and she held me in her arms the whole way to the hospital, and she was holding like a face towel to my head because, you know, there was like a fountain of blood just like coming out of my head, and she was like holding a towel to it and she was like crying. And so my brother was driving to the emergency room, and according to my mom, I don't know if she was exaggerating or anything, but according to my mom, she saw my skull. Like, the cut was so deep that she saw my skull. That's kind of gross. I don't know if she was just exaggerating, but I mean, I'm gonna take her word on it. So I'm a 364-day-old baby with a ginormous cut in the middle of my forehead, and my skull is exposed, okay? And there's a fountain of blood just like squirting out of my forehead, just like. So we get to the emergency room, and this is the part that makes me laugh because my mom got so pissed. So she takes me to the emergency room and she's like,
I need a doctor, my daughter's bleeding, she's not even 1 year old yet, we need to get her a doctor, we need to get it stitched up or whatever.
And the nurse tells my mom,
I'm sorry, ma'am, but emergency rooms are only for emergencies.
And my mom fought with this lady. She was like,
my baby is bleeding, she's not even 1 year old, and she's bleeding, she could have a lot of blood loss.
And the nurse was just, she was not having it today. I don't know what was up with her today, but she was like,
I'm sorry, but the doctor is busy right now. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go into line and you're gonna have to sit over there on the chairs and wait. Here's a cloth. You can put that on her head while you wait, but you're just gonna have to wait. I'm sorry.
So we, I don't know how long we waited, but my mom said that we waited for a while, and like she was just sitting there with the cloth. You know, it was a white cloth. Well, then it turned red. Well, it was a cloth, and she was holding it on my head, and she was just sitting there like. And I kind of understand that, because like, I mean, I guess there are some emergencies that need more attention than, of course, like splitting my head open. I mean, splitting my head open is pretty bad, but I mean, there are some people who got shot like in their chest, or like maybe they got hit by a car, and there are just some people that need more urgent care than I did at that time. But we waited, and then the doctor called us up. I'm like running out of spit. I guess this was like a new doctor or something, because my mom was like, he was pretty experimental and he wanted to try something new. So at the time, I don't think adhesive was that popular, but he wanted to try adhesive on my forehead. So he cleaned up the blood, he got it to stop bleeding and stuff for, I don't know what he did. I was 364 days old. You really think I remember this? He patched it up, but instead of using stitches, he used adhesive. And of course he asked my mom first. He was like,
is it okay if I use adhesive on her? I want to try something new.
My mom was like, she didn't even care at this time. She was just like,
just patch your head back together. I can see her skull. I don't want to see that. Do whatever. Stitches, adhesive, I don't care. Just get it fixed.
so he pretty much glued the skin together, and I don't know that much. I don't know anything about medical stuff, but I'm pretty sure adhesive takes longer for a scar to heal. Now I think stitches might be more painful or something, but like I'm pretty sure stitches helps your scar heal a lot faster. The doctor was like,
okay, so I put adhesive on her. It might take a little longer for the scar to heal, but she'll have a scar for quite a while. She'll actually have it until she's probably around 8, and it'll go away by the time she's like 10.
so my mom was like,
Okay, whatever.
she was kind of sad at this moment because she was like,
Her beautiful baby, she's gonna have this scar on her forehead for like the next 9 years of her life. I'm so sorry for her. Like, oh, I wish my baby didn't have to deal with this.
so like all throughout elementary and middle school I had to deal with like people making fun of my scar. Like it wasn't actually too bad, but like my freaking cousin named Raphael, he was in one of my really old videos. He came up with nicknames for me like Avatar, The Last Airbender, and like Harry Potter. He even had the audacity to make this side-by-side comparison of me and Aang the Last Airbender, okay? Like, okay, here's a picture. He sent this to me the other day and I was so pissed. I was like, why? So yeah, I mean, like I've had this scar for a really long time. It was supposed to go away by the time I was 10, but I mean I'm 15 now and it's still here. I mean, it's not as visible, but actually I'll put a few pictures over here of where my scar was super visible. There's nothing I can do about it. There's a scar on my forehead and I've lived with it for 14 years, and you know, I've just gotten used to it. So that is the story of how I got the scar on my forehead and how I spent my first birthday in the emergency room. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you did, you can go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and comment down below any video requests that you have for me, and if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to turn on post notifications for my channel so you'll be notified every time that I upload a video. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media, links are down below. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you and bye! Coco was just like laying right here on the bed, just like sitting there chilling. God, I'm so lame. Oh my god.